We have the first question is, was this like the first entrepreneurial experience?
That I had
With the first entrepreneurial experience.
before.
The venture.
Okay. Well, I was a student at KTH together with Terence,
Yes.
sitting where you are sitting. And I came to Sweden in 2006 to study ICT, entrepreneurship, information communication technology. And that's where it was, we had a lot of hands-on projects that we did in real life. We had to meet with entrepreneurs and also startups, but the scene back then, it wasn't as active. For the past 2 years now, it has been very active in Stockholm. But back then it was like 1 or 2 events per year. So yeah, I think that was the most experience I had when it comes to entrepreneurship or coming close, based on the projects that we used to work with in the academic environment.
So did you always know it from inside, like you wanted to start up something from your own, like you had many ideas which you wanted to go forward with?
Yeah, when I was like even 5 or 6, I think I wrote a letter to my aunt who lived abroad back then, and she replied back. There were no emails back then, so she replied back with a letter, and she said like, you are writing the letter like a businesswoman.
Perfect.
Yeah. I always wanted to have something on my own. Yeah, so it was something I think inside of me long ago.
Okay, so you always wanted to pursue your own ideas and interests.
Not necessarily my own ideas. I like to be part of. It's not about a startup. Is not about the person who starts it, but it's about who do you choose to work with on what.
Okay.
And that's the most important part.
So
not just the product, it's the people. If you don't like them, it's like you won't be happy. Because you're gonna spend majority of the time working with these people, and like they become like a family. So you have to maybe not agree on everything, but still you have to like to work with them and be around them.
Okay. So could you tell us a bit more about your first startup, and maybe just background information, how you went into it, the struggles that if you had, and also some kind of experiences?
Well, I didn't start a startup of my own, but 2 years ago, we were here at Sub 46. 2 years ago, when Sub 46 launched the party, they launched the place. I was here with a friend who had a call, and he left. So I was standing alone in front of like 500 people, 300, I don't know how many, 500 people I think there were. And there was a woman next to me, and she started to speak with me, and then she gave me her business card, and then the scene started, so we couldn't talk anymore. So I connected with her the week after. That was Rosie Linder, who started Peppy. And I met her the next week for lunch, because I was looking for a project to work on. I used to be a freelancer working, and I love startups because it's like fast and very dynamic.
True.
And we met, and then I started to help her out once a week, and then twice a week, and then 3 times a week for free. And then it became every day. And then we really got along, and I loved her vision. I loved the idea of Peppy. And back then, Peppy was just like on a paper.
Yes.
We didn't have the game out yet. And so we met, and Rosie offered me to be part of the team, like the core team. So that's how I became a co-founder.
Tell us more about your role in the startup, and also what were the main values that this startup has.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, like the Peppy is a game for kids. What is unique about it is that we don't have any language or text in the games, and it's based on only like very friendly Disney-looking animals, and we teach about emotional intelligence. So that's not something that you see every day. So it's very innovative when it comes to content and how the interface as well. And also, it was not many games that have no text. So my role was to help them create buzz about it, so make people know us. For instance, we were not on Twitter, so I opened a Twitter account. Facebook were like maybe a couple of people. They were less than 100. I don't remember exactly how much, but then now we have over maybe 2,000 followers. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn. We're everywhere. And also my role was mainly to bring that visibility to the company and create the buzz.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did that, I think, successfully. So everyone knows what Peppy is.
Yeah. As I asked you, tell us more about what the core values of the startup is.
The core values is that we want to make the world bully free. You know, the people who have emotional intelligence and empathy, so they don't tend to bully or get bullied. So they tend to understand other people's perspective. And that's the main value. And then we also strive, for instance, Rosie, me, and all the entire team, we're very big supporters of the entire community here in the Stockholm tech scene. Like I help, like these things that I'm doing, for instance, and we do other events and we connect people to each other. Yeah, so it's like we live what we preach, basically. And we believe that empathy can be taught and educated at early stage, because our games are targeted for 2 to 6 years old.
While you were on this journey, did you have any downfalls?
There are always upfalls and downfalls in a startup. Yeah, I mean, like the simplest things, like launching the app at an X amount of deadline. You never meet that, because it's like dependent on App Store with Apple and Google with Android. So so it's like you have to make sure that everything is on time, and sometimes you don't meet the deadlines. Of course, you don't have plan Bs, but some things you can control in a better way. For the next round, the next game, we were better. There are lots of people who copy you because it's an app at the end of the day, and a game you can outsource it and do it. But I think people didn't manage to copy us that well yet. So we're still one of the best. The downfalls, so challenges, of course, like everyone wants to make everything perfect and right, and sometimes you want, or when you like apply to certain funding to get a certain amount of money and stuff, you don't always, not every application leads to for you to get money, and then also the process of filling in those applications and all these things. So it's like it's a long process, and you really have to love what you're doing. You really have to believe in it to make sure that you really are able to take that. I'm not gonna be using bad words here because it's a university, but you really have to be like persistent and consistent, and it's not always easy. But I think that we are very strong as a team together.
True.
Yeah. So I mean, we didn't have that many big problems yet.
Okay.
We've been. I mean, other than the deadline and these things, like you get disappointed from here and there, but nothing major, that big.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you believe in taking risks?
Yeah, you should. Every day we take risks.
Yeah. So what was your greatest risk? Was this the startup was your greatest risk, or did you also take some other risks?
I mean, I think it was a risk that I left my home country to come to Sweden, for instance. I don't know, I have to think about this a bit. Yeah, I think, I mean, you make decisions based on, there's always a risk. And I did fall many times, on a personal level, on a professional level. Because like when you run a startup, you don't really have a personal life that much. Even if you have a family, or if you don't have a family, like you become very dedicated to what you're doing, and then you let go of a lot of things, and that's also, you risk losing important people in your life, and there's a risk in everything, and then the question is if it's worth it or valuable or not. Okay. And then you will know during the journey.
So we also know that you are one of the directors of Startup Grind.
Yes.
Could you?
The Stockholm, So Startup Grind is actually a very cool idea. It comes from the Silicon Valley. So what we do is we build community, and we're part of the ecosystem. By ecosystem, I mean the entire startup scene. And Startup Grind is we run like meetups or events once a month, or let's say 9 to 10 times a year, and where we try to bring all different sorts of people together. For instance, we can get from venture capitalists, from wannabe entrepreneurs, from CEOs, from CFOs, from like venture capitalists, business angels, corporate people. And what we do is that what's so special about our events is that the guest that is on stage is our rock star, and also we tend to show the personal side of that guest. and that they're human just like any one of us, and they do have like down times and up times, and then they share the human side of who they are, you know. And also people, when they come, they experience a lot of good networking, and they become like friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So let's talk more about the customers
Yes.
of the service, the Peppy Pals. So can you tell us more, like how do you actually engross with them, or do you
Engage.
engage with them and make sure that they don't leave, or you know
Yeah. Well, we have done zero marketing, but we had zero marketing budget until now. So everything was done organically on social media, which was really good. And we also got a lot of support from the community and also the local media. So now that we want to grow, that's when we have to do more marketing aggressively, I guess. The challenging part when you're doing an app or any business for kids is that they're the customers, but the buyers are the parents.
Yes.
So we have to find a way to make a game that kids want to play, and parents are willing to buy.
Yes.
And that's a challenge. So we try to engage in a lot with mother communities, with bloggers and influencers, so that they can test and tell us what they think. We also work very closely with schools here in Sweden, so they can test and try, and we get feedback, because this is also viewed as not like parent-child thing, it's more also an educative app. And how do we retain them? We try to we have a very high retention rate compared to other competition. There's no right or wrong in our game. There's no game over. It's like anything is allowed, and then they get to understand. So it's it's fun, even if you want to, because a lot of people get bored from a game. But for us, it has been a good retention rate so far.
Great. Where do you see yourself down the line after 5 years?
I can never answer this question at any job interview as well. I don't know. I like to see things shortly, like 6 months from here. If I look back in 2006 when I was a student in Terence's class, Facebook had just opened up for the public. It was only for universities. There was no social media. I don't work with what I studied 9 years ago, or in my bachelor's degree. Things change very fast now, and you cannot plan a 5-year plan. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to be quick, fail fast and learn fast. That's So I can tell you what I will do from now until December, but after that I don't know. I work full-time at Philips, and I'm also a co-founder at Peppy Pals, and I am also a co-director at Startup Grind, and I also manage my own social media accounts. So, and people ask me, do you have a life? Yes, I am very productive and efficient with my time. So I do, I do what will bring more value during my day. So I like the most important stuff I get over with. And when I'm at work, focus 100% on Philips. I do nothing for Peppy Pals. So I have time, and Startup Grind is a monthly thing, and it's a team effort. So it's the least time consuming for me, for now at least. But Peppy Pals takes time, but then I have night times and weekends to work on. And then we try to plan ahead of time, a week ahead, so that we know what I'm supposed to do. But now I am becoming less hands-on. We have hired our first employee, so it's really nice. So she's helping us out a lot. I think that when I'm very productive when I have many things at the same time, and I love it. It gives me it helps it helps my corporate work, and it helps my the startup. I learn from each side. They're so different, but there are lots of things that one can learn from each side.
Great.
Yeah, and another thing is that with Philips is that it is like somehow like a startup. We operate here in the Nordic. We're very small. We're not that big in the Nordic, so it's really nice that energy as well.
Okay. Can you suggest some tips or advice to our young entrepreneurs who wants to start their own startups?
Yeah, I think that. I always meet people who claim to be entrepreneurs, or they always have ideas. But idea is just an idea. You have to just go and do it, And I think that for me personally, this is the best place to be now in Stockholm. I mean, the environment, the dynamic environment is just booming. And I think my advice would be for anyone who is interested in, you don't have to start your own, you can like join some teams, you can be part of, I would advise them to volunteer to test, because I have volunteered a lot. Like I do a lot of support for the community, and I don't get money for in return, but I don't care, it's a lot of more things than in return. Volunteer helps a lot, and network. I've built an entire career because I network a lot, because people can get you anywhere, you know. I know someone, you know someone, so it's that's and then you have to always be humble. Yeah.
Okay, before we finish, 5 things that a successful entrepreneur should have, according to you.
That's very broad. It depends on the entrepreneur. Okay. 5 things.
Yeah. Good qualities. Yes.
I think an entrepreneur should like people, work with people, people person.
People person.
Yeah, very good in time management.
Time management.
Yeah, yeah. Like to know what timing we should do things. Also, someone who can have some sort of a charisma to attract people. Like Rosie, for instance, when I met her, before knowing what she does, I loved her. She has a very strong charisma. Fourth, and you all have to team up with the right people. I mean, you have to like people, you have to find the right people as well. Yeah, it's like if I would choose nothing, I would choose the 5 will be people.
So it's all about people.
It's really, I mean, it is a bit cheesy when I say that, but it is really about the people. Because if you don't like each other, nothing will happen. You have to have that. Not like, I mean, like be in love with each other, or you cannot like, yeah, but you have to be, not even compliment, no, you have to be, let's say, cereal and milk is complementary, no, you shouldn't be that, you have to be like something that you can eat, meat and vegetables. If I eat meat alone, I can eat meat alone, and if I eat vegetables alone, it's still, you have to be strong individually, and also bring that forces together as a team. In that sense, not complementary. But of course, it's better for you to find diversified background in the team and so on. But as individuals, you really have to be standalone sometimes. Yeah.
Great.
So I didn't give you 5, but I think that it's
yes,
people.
that answered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Perfect. It's perfect. Yeah.
And we have something for you.
We have
as
something.
a